Hello and welcome back. If you're new to my channel, I'm Deirdre, and today I'm continuing downsizing by looking at my kitchen. And I've been here for 2 years in this apartment from moving from the big house, and it's definitely time I reassess the things that I use, that I don't use, and let some more things go, because it's a good time. You know, I know what I've been using, I know what I haven't. So that's what I'm going to start today, and how much of it I'll get done, I'm not sure. It might be a two-part thing. I really don't want to look in the pantry. That's a separate thing. So yes, so that's what we're going to do. It's really chilly here today in Melbourne. We've gone from a late summer that sort of stretched on, and then bam, suddenly we're into quite chilly weather where it's, you know, managing to get into double digits Celsius. But the feels like temperature is really cold because the wind's chilly and blowing in. So I've done a few things today, and I'm going to fit this in now because some noisy things that were happening have stopped, and I'll be able to work. And if you've been with me for a while, you've seen my kitchen. I've done a couple of things, tidying it through and the like, and this isn't a clean it, though cleaning will have to go on, but it's not now, but it's about getting rid of those items that I don't need and that they can go off to another home. Everything's in good condition. I mean, that's just what I'm like, really. I do look after things, and that's it's not a problem, but it is a reason that I have things that I've just had forever, and they're in very good condition, and it's easy to hold on to them because of that. But it's not a good reason to hold on to them, as if I don't need them. And so yeah, that's what I'll be doing today. And here's my kitchen. It's a good size for an apartment. It's got lots of storage, which is a good and a bad thing. I've got my candle going because I've got to try and cheer this miserable day up a little bit. That's the pantry, which is really good sized, and there's more storage above the refrigerator and all along the top here. I actually took the door off there to see what it was like, and I must get round to taking off the hinges and attaching them back to the door so that they will stay together in case I change my mind. But it's a nice little kitchen. I've just made myself a cup of tea, and the whole thing is that yes, it does have great storage, everything I could need, want, use, etc. And I then find myself keeping things that perhaps I don't actually want, or rather, yeah, things I don't want. So I'm going to start probably, the old story, isn't it? You meant to start, choose a corner and start there. So I'm going to start, I'll do these drawers, but right now it's teeming with rain. It's miserable 9 degrees Celsius, which isn't very much. It's a bit chilly, enough of winter. I know, it has only been going for 5 minutes. So here's one of the things that's definitely going to stay. It's my mug. And there I am, a little adventurer going off into the world. So tea first, tea comes before everything. And then I'll go over here and we'll look at the drawers. Now, they look all tidy and organised, and I think, to be honest, the top one's probably, this top one is, it's just ordinary things that you don't get rid of. I've got a little pie flute here, you know, the little ones that you put in the pie to let the air out, and I do use that occasionally. And 2 little deers, that's a squirrel, and that's a rooster. Well, these are useful, they're little oil pourers or vinegar pourers if you put them in a plain bottle. But also on top of that, I think they're all both rather lovely. So these, they can stay. Here I've just got my candle, KitchenAid, which I do use, rolling pin, which I have had for 40 odd years, and yes, I do use. Some beautiful little yellow bowls, really, almost, that I do use for nuts and things like that. My son and his wife gave them to me. And also this, which is the best juicer. Super simple and so easy to just whip through and juice a whole stack of things with no effort whatsoever. Only thing against it is that it's quite tall, but I live with that because it's so useful when I do want to juice, you know, like a whole lot of lemons or a whole lot of limes. We're friends with lemons and lime trees, and you know, oranges, anything like that. I can just get through so many so quickly. Now coming down into here, this stuff I'm just going to put out on the top, and then we'll have a look at it. Well, that's what's in there. I'm just going to quickly clean these because they are dirty. Now, while I wash these, let's chat about the difference between decluttering and downsizing, because they really are quite different. When you're decluttering, you're looking around for things that are past their best, perhaps, that you have had and not used for years, that you don't really like, even things that found their way into your home almost by accident sometimes, or things that really do need just to be moved on because, well, they're broken, worn out. I mean, things get worn out sometimes, and so that's sort of more of what I think of as decluttering. It's getting rid of the excess, the half-burned candle that you never really liked. That's a decluttering, and so those sorts of things I actually think are relatively easy. Now, I know that that's not the case for some people because they worry about who gave it to them and all of the memories and things that are tied up with it, and I agree with that. That is hard when there are things that you don't particularly want, but they were given to you by somebody that you care about, and or somebody who has passed away, or any of those things that add a layer of value that perhaps they don't actually have. But that's one thing. And then there is what I think of as quite a different sort of process, which is the downsizing, which is when you've had perfectly useful, good quality and in good condition items that were part of a previous life, a life where you did different things, where you perhaps, you might have lived in a larger home, or you may have had a family that you were caring for and looking after, so you needed lots more things if you had lots of kids, or just generally bigger families. That's another thing altogether, because these items are things that you still like, that you still enjoy, so you can't just do the whole does it bring me joy test, and yet in a different sort of way you're not using them, and they could be used by other people because they are in good condition and they're good quality items, or you have to at least assess them. Now, anybody who's watched my downsizing from the big house will know that I got rid of, let's just say, an enormous number of things from a very big house full of very nice things, and they weren't needed moving into an apartment, and I had to make decisions between the things that I really, really liked and the things that I really, really, really liked, and things that would fit, obviously, because that's another issue in an apartment, and that is downsizing. And now that I've been here for 2 years, there are things that I have brought with me that I wondered if I would use, and now I know pretty much that I don't, that they're not the first things I reach for, even if I do need the platters that I would reach for if I was having a family dinner or having friends to dinner or lunch. Those sorts of things, yes, I still need them, still use them, but are they the things I reach for first? So this is where this is going to be going in the next little while. So let's start. Obvious ones that stay. This is an IKEA knife. I think that's another IKEA knife. Needs a good clean. And that one's a Wiltshire. Now, one of these can go, can't it? Really? I think I'll keep the Wiltshire. Let me see which is in better condition. I think I'll keep this one because that one's got some notches out of it from when somebody else did some sharpening. That wasn't very good. They can go back. Excellent bread knife. That stays. As do these, which are the Mundell knives, and yeah, they probably all need me to take them to be sharpened. I used to keep them in a knife block, but I don't have the bench space for it these days. So you can say, well, I could put them here, but I like this to be something I can change around and just to be pretty if I want it to be. Here's the good chicken scissors that go with the knives. And here are a whole group of little Victorinox knives. That's not the right place. And fruit paring knives. There are a couple of others as well. And I reach for these all the time. A couple of them are serrated. Technically it's a steak knife, but I just use it because it's really good for cutting tomatoes. So I keep those. They need to be sharp. Potato peeler, yes, obviously keep that. This is an oyster shucker, which you might think, well, how often do you use it, you know, use an oyster shucker? And I would happily say not very often. The next question would be, how often do you use it to lever things open and do general things that need it to be strong? And I would say quite often. This is really strong, obviously, because it needs to be used to open the oysters. But it's an incredibly useful general tool because it doesn't break. I do need a can opener because we do have them occasionally without pull tops. Do I need these? I can't tell you the last time I used those. Really strong, but they can go. We'll see, another potato peeler that I use for things like peeling butternut squash. A little lighter to light my candles, so that's a handy thing to have in here. These are cooking chopsticks, but they actually, so they do belong in here. They just slide down the side because they're very long. Magnifying glass, yes, need it. Don't laugh. Nobody drinks around here these days, so we don't really need these things, but if somebody else comes and brings a bottle of wine and like to have a glass of wine, I'm a good host. So they stay, they go right up the back. Hang on, I have to wriggle you a little bit to get them up the back. Easy. Over here, an apple corer, which I actually use as a tomato corer because it's just so easy to take the, so I do use that. Salad time, that gets used all the time. I'll go in like that. What else am I getting rid of along here? Something incredibly useful. It's a butter spreader, but it's really good for spreading smashed avo on toast and everything else above that. So hummus, anything like that, it's just a great little spreader. Use it. Now that I know I have one, wouldn't be without it. This should really be down in the baking area because it's a baking thing, as should this little fox. Look, I have a little fox. It's just like it's like a skewer, a little metal skewer to test if cakes are ready. These are just serving spoons that I use all the time, and these ones are giant serving spoons that, frankly, I think I'm going to downsize. Those don't need anything like that. They were for parties and for serving, you know, really big crowds, so they can go. Takeaway chopsticks, what are they doing there? Takeaway menus. And my last thing that I would say is really important to have in here are these. This is just that grippy thing that you line drawers with, but I've just cut some squares and I use it for taking off the lids off jars. If I can't get traction, these are really grippy and they're really useful, so those ones definitely stay. Next drawer. Okay, well, let us dump those back in there because that's where they came from. I'm just going to get all of these out and put them back up on the top. Next set. This is sort of baking things, which is why I moved something down to here. That's cooking. That's something I use all the time. That's something that, it's from Joseph, I think. Yes, it's Joseph. It's for squashing garlic, and you don't have to peel it. You just rock that over the top of it, put some pressure on it. Works really well. Love it. So that's cooking. That's offset spatula for baking, which I do. Ice cream dispenser, which I never use for ice cream but do use for muffins. Perfectly nice little, oops, albeit a little dirty little scale. Works really well. Some more take-out Chinese chopsticks need to go. This is in the wrong place. It should be with the juicer, which I did keep. Remember when I went through the utility cupboard, which by the way is just there. It's literally one tiny wall outside of the kitchen, so it's effectively in the kitchen as well. And that's something that doesn't belong there. Tiny tea strainer. Have I ever used this? No. Will I use this? Probably not. That can go. Plastic doofery thing. I think this came from pressure cooker. Obviously, no, I don't need that to measure. I have a lot of things to measure with. Metal straws, because I never ever use real, plastic straws. And I tend often to have, I haven't got them with me at the moment, but I have a little pouch that I put one or two of these in when I go out. So if somebody presents me with something that's going to have a straw, I say, please take it away. I don't want to. Well, I asked them not to put it in the first place because I have these. And these are the little brushes that you clean it with. Really useful. It's a reamer for juicing, and if I have, see in the morning I always have my bit of ginger and lemon in warm water, and if I'm having half a lemon juice I just grab that, won't bother doing the big juicer, and it's easier than squeezing it. You get more juice out just using this, so it's just a nifty little wooden reamer, handy as. Some normal little rings for cutting shapes, usually things like scones, quick and easy. Plastic measuring cups, metal measuring cups. Do I need two? Oh, probably not, but am I going to bother getting rid of them? No. This is something I picked up the other day when I was making some scones, because it's easy to cut rather than using those. I was just making square ones, and this is just a little thing called a baker's helper, and you can clean with it, you can cut with it, so if you make bread or buns or anything like that, and I have been making a few bready things, which are nice. That's the ice cream scoop that I would use if I was using it for ice cream, because it's really strong. Excellent. Whoops, that's that little fox for testing. 2 sets of measuring spoons, and yes, I do sometimes use 2 sets, because if one's dirty and I'm just reaching for another clean one, I don't want to stop. Handy, easy to wash. A plastic takeaway knife. See, the things that find their way in there. And last but not least is this. It's a silicone mat for baking on, which is a great idea, which I have never used. But I did see the other day that a woman had cut them into thirds. She'd used a silpat, and I'm not going to do that, but she'd cut one of these things that you can put into heat into thirds, so that they were that wide, and she used them as a sling to get things out of her pressure cooker. And I thought, that could be useful. It might have to go right across, however. It was very cheap, it just came from IKEA. But if I used corner to corner, it might be long enough to use as a sling. If I just trimmed off the corners for pulling out pots out of the Instant Pot. And I think that's a really, for when you're doing a pot-in-pot with the pressure cooker. And it is difficult to take things out, so that, I think, will be repurposed for pressure cooker use. And that's really all there is. I'm going to pop all of those back. And this is the last drawer. Wow, okay, it's full of, this is sort of my version of a junk drawer, and there's stuff that has to go. That goes in the refrigerator and for eggs. These are some things that are a bit excess to the dishwasher. This is the charger for my little digital radio, which I sometimes use in here, so it actually needs to be charged. And this I have no idea about. Something IKEA. Must be some English in there somewhere, since I can't read any of this. Who speaks Magyar out there? This is a good old-fashioned potato masher. Sometimes I usually use a potato ricer, but for things like, I don't know, parsnips, pumpkin, it's handy to have an old-fashioned masher, so I'll keep that. Now I'm coming to the things that, I'll keep that one because that's what my other ones are like. This one can go. Same as these. They were the same set, so they can go on donation and they'll be fine. They'll find a new life. This was a super duper wonderful idea potato masher, which I really, really hate. Sorry, anybody who loves their potato masher that's a spring. I don't, so that's going to get donated. These belong in the Christmas area because they are the little things that sit on the top of my brownie mountain. I make brownies, cover them in icing, just dust it with icing sugar and put these on it, and they are the deer that can climb up the mountain of brownies. Dough hook, whisk for the KitchenAid, so they stay. Extra large wooden spoon, which I have no need for. The sharpening steel, absolutely, for my knives. I do know how to use it. And chopsticks. Okay, takeaway ones. More takeaway ones. Okie doke. They're really useful for gardening. I'd have you know, these things, so they can go into my gardening area. And these are my good ones that I've had for years, and we just they are a plastic, but we just reuse them. So they are great. Had those since I lived in Singapore. I'll do a final clean up and show you the result. And here they are, all done. So I did take out these and wash them since I was at it, and that's just all the things I had before back in there. This is the only one that's a bit crowded. I'm not quite sure how to manage it. But to be fair, I know exactly where everything is, and that makes it easy. I'll think about that. This one, super simple, just baking things and all tidy and ready to be used. And the bottom one is now almost empty. Well, it's not empty, but it's now easy to see what's in there. And just to grab the things that I use, I just put the little Christmas things back in there, because really perfectly okay having them there. And I have a pile of things that I've taken away. Some rubbish, some are useful for gardening, and some are to be donated. Here's the drawer under the microwave, which is more crowded than it needs to be. Yes, these are all the cookie cutters. I actually can go through that, can't I? And here we are. I've just got the Pyrex plate standing up at the back with the bowls in front, and my little egg cooker fits in nice and neatly down there now, and the Pyrex bowls and my oven glove mitts. What I will probably do with the oven mitts is put them on some command hooks on the inside of the pantry door. Now, it's not much of a start. I've still got a lot to go, but that's the sort of an area where I knew I was going to have things to get rid of, and here we go. They are there. Quite a few things to get rid of. So, and all will be, virtually all, can be repurposed or reused or donated and be useful. So I'm not too bothered about the things that have come out. You know, I like to keep an eye on the things that I have, because I don't want to just pass on the problem to somebody else. There we are. That's my little bit of downsizing / decluttering, because some of it was clutter, I know that, for today. And I hope that it was useful to see me go through things, and it gives you a little bit of inspiration and motivation to have another look at some of your things yourself, to see if you're really using them or enjoying them the way that you should. And yes, I'll keep going, but believe me, I don't expect anybody else to have to do this. It's all about what's good in your home. That's me done for today. It's about 5 o'clock. It's really dark outside, and I've now got to go and get myself out into the cold. It's lovely and warm in here, but that doesn't matter. I've got nice warm clothes, so I will bundle up and head out into this cold evening. I hope that whatever you're doing, you're having a lovely time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!